Well, welcome everyone to episode 564, 21st of the 12th, 2017. Merry Christmas. It is the last, possibly the last Aussie Tech Heads before the end of the year. I think next week I won't be here, but we'll see what happens. I think we'll talk to someone in a minute who might be around. We don't know yet, but anyway, welcome to the show this week. We got a few stories to get through this week. This week we're going to see about Facebook and facial recognition. Apple plans new building in Australia, and plenty more. DanTDM gets a mention on the show this week. How do you like those apples, eh? All right. And don't forget, we are brought to you the bandwidth and all the expenses paid by athwebhosting.com.au. So if you like the podcast, why not test out the sponsor? And that is really us, aussietechheads.com.au. But the web hosting is athwebhosting.com.au. And also, don't forget to like us if you like us on facebook.com/AussieTechHeads. Just jump on there, tell us what you think, any comments or whatever. Post us something. Just get on there, interact with us. You can also interact on the website as well. You can record a audio comment that can come straight back to us. No one's actually done that yet. Well, no audible ones anyway. Some have been inaudible and some probably not repeatable. But no, they've all been good. And okay, so let's get straight into it and welcome this week. We've only got Jace. We've lost Jordan. He's on holidays. How you going, Jace?
Ding, 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 ding. It's snowing.
It is. Look at that, eh? That is one of the better can you call it CGI or green screens that you've done. That's a nice one. Yeah, there's no.
So you're saying the others were crap? I get it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Does that ATH web hosting you were talking about? Do they have Drupal?
Oh, you can install Drupal. You can install. It was funny.
You can install Drupal if you really, really want to.
I was talking to Eric today. He sends his best to everyone. He can't be on this year or this year. The rest of this episode anyway.
Will couldn't be on this year, but he sends his best too, no doubt.
Yes. No, but I was actually talking to Eric this morning, and it was funny. We were talking about this and that, and he's got a WordPress site, and he's going, "Oh, what else is out there?" He goes, "I've heard good things about Drupal." So he's obviously picked it up.
Where did he hear them from? I don't know anywhere I could hear anything good about Drupal.
So he's obviously
Joomla maybe. If I got a basic website, I'll do WordPress. If it needs to be more complicated, like they want to lock off members areas or have ES commerce or something, I'd say Joomla.
Yeah, Joomla. Do you notice? I don't know why they have the actual word Joomla is always with an exclamation mark. That's the actual trademark.
Yeah, like Yahoo used to be.
Oh, they stopped that, did they? I didn't realise that.
I hope so. Well, it got sold up and broken, didn't it? Is it still any Yahoo left?
I know. I knew it got sold, and everyone knew it was broken. So I don't know. Who knows? But so that's the way to go. So come and get onto us for some hosting if you want. Now, where are we going to start this week? There's been not too much. I go through the stories each week, as you know, and look, the whole week was pretty much in my juiciest place. I get news. It was all over and done with. There must have been about 20 stories all up for the whole week.
The juicy place was a bit dry, was it, Glenn?
Yes, that was a bit dry, a bit parched down at the old juicy place, but we did pull some out of it. So we did get some stories. Yes, if you want to get us on
going deeper and deeper into the juicy place, aren't you?
I know. I'm thinking, what can I say that's not too bad? Yeah, but it turns out nothing. No. So, I must say that. If you're on the video, I do have a bit of a unironed shirt on, and I apologise for that. But the ironing lady, my stylist, is already on Christmas holidays, so hopefully she'll come back next year pretty soon. All right, you get us on Twitter at Glenn Goodman, at Warlock, WAULOK, at Aussie Tech Heads, or at Aussie Tech News. You get the hashtag Oz Tech Heads, AUS Tech Heads. There you go, TECHHADS. And the Aussie Mac Zone, they're lucky, aren't they? They've had Christmas breaks for like a week or so now.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on over there, those lazy people over there.
Well, that's okay. My shows have had Christmas breaks for about a year now.
You're just
talking to Will about whether we should do any more Minecraft, and we really don't know whether it's worthwhile anymore. But everybody really, really wants to do Old Fart Geek, so we'll see maybe the new year.
I think the Old Fart Geeks is a good concept. You can just go on about it, just keep going on about all the old stuff, and you can get people on, that'd probably go further back than us, back to the 60s with reel-to-reels or whatever, and all that sort of stuff.
Well, I'm sure Alex would like it because he's always posting articles on his own website about old games from the 80s and getting his kids to play Street Fighter and stuff like that, and the old Link video games. So
yeah,
I'm sure he would be interested.
Yeah, so I think that's a good concept. So we should boot that one back up. The Minecraft, I'm thinking, that's what a question has just come to mind. Now, you know how there's so many different versions of this Minecraft, like the Windows 10, there's the Xbox, which I think they're pretty much the same now, aren't they? Windows 10 and Xbox. Then you've got the Pocket Edition. Then you've got the Java Edition. Now, if you bought
PlayStation and Switch,
okay, and they're all non-interoperable, is that right? All those PlayStation ones as well.
They're actually working on Minecraft Realms servers, which Mojang/Microsoft run, and they're trying to get it so that you can all play together on the same server. But you would have to get one of their Realms servers you would be able to play together on, say, the server that I've got.
I honestly, I'm no coder, but I can't see why this is so hard. Isn't it just all, up and down?
One of the bonuses for Microsoft is if they make it so if they don't specifically program the normal one so that everyone can interrupt, then you have to purchase a Microsoft/Mojang Realm server, and then they get extra money. Well, at the moment, you buy Minecraft once-off payment for like $30. That's it for life. Now, where's Microsoft going to get some more money from you? They're not. So if you have to pay a monthly fee for a server so you can play with your friend on the Xbox and the PlayStation and the PC and the mobile all on the same place together, then they get another recurring revenue.
Now, with the Java edition, I think that's what it's called, isn't it, on the PC?
That's where it started, yep.
Yeah, so
PC, Mac, and Linux all running Java.
Right. So if you were to buy the PC version, does that give you is that only per PC, or can you get two PCs out of that license? Or if you want
you can it's run by account, so you log in with username and password to one account, which you can put on any PC in the world, but it's still only that one account.
Yes, and I guess so each time, you can't have, say, two different names then in the same...
Not on the same account, no. You'd have to have separate accounts.
Yeah, right. I'm thinking of, because the kids, they start at school, they've been doing this, say, basic programming with Scratch. I don't know if you've seen that or whatever.
Yeah, Scratch is great.
Yeah, so that seems pretty good. And I've come across this thing, it's the same sort of concept as Scratch, but with Minecraft.
Yep.
And you get the most advantage out of Scratch/Minecraft, like programming Minecraft with Scratch, if you have the Java version.
Yep.
And we don't have that. I'm thinking, well, if I want the kids to do it, which I think they would be interested in it, I've got to buy two Java Minecrafts.
Yep.
And so that's where I was.
Also,
sad
if
face.
People are interested in programming, say, games that they want to put on Apple and iPhone and Windows and Mac and a few other things, even HTML export. There's a website called Stencil, stencil.com, which lets you program games for all of those platforms, including Apple and Android, but it's using a Scratch type style where you have the blocks that you join together, the jigsaw puzzle of code.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And there's that, and then what do? You can play that on your phone. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, you can publish it and sell it in the App Store and the Play Store and the Windows Store and all these things.
For now. I've got a story that segues into one of my stories, actually.
Let's go
into two stories. Can you believe that as a segue there?
But we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, that's right. Let me go on while we're doing the scratchy programming thing. Apple has moved to ban apps made with commercial templating tools. So I guess this stencil is probably a templating type of tool.
No. That'll give you different things. It's like people were complaining because there's companies that will make a basic application for Apple and Android, and it'll have all the basic settings for, say, a pizza place.
Yep.
So if you've got Glenn's Pizza Parlor in Robina, and he doesn't know that much about programming or doesn't have time to program stuff. You just boot up this application on your desktop, and you would drag in your company logo,
Right.
colors you want, upload pictures of your pizza or whatever, and then you press go, and it would create an application that goes on your iPhone, which you could submit to the Apple Store, and everybody's pizza place would have. Everybody just wants the same sort of experience. You don't want to have 20 different or 100 different types of pizza store apps. They would all work the same way and have the same features, but everyone can personalize it, and so you don't have to pay, say, Joe Programmer $5,000 to make you an app. You could just run it together yourself and export it, and there you go, here's our pizza shop done. But then Jason's pizza shop would look the same but have different pizza names with different ingredients and different logo, but it would be exactly the same app. So that's the templated. The app is created once, and then you can customize it for all the different stores. So that's the kind of thing they want to block. Something like Stencil is just another way of programming a game, which will be completely different to all the other games.
Right. So they must run. Obviously, they must run some sort of code. I don't know.
Checker.
Identification or whatever, so it just sees if it's all the same sort of stuff. This story goes on. Apple updated its App Store guidelines on June 8, to include the following clause. For those who are following at home, it's clause 4.2.6.
I thought it was going to be Santa Claus. I was getting excited.
No, just 4.2.6. That's the Grinch version from Apple. Apps created from a commercialized template or app generation service will be rejected. While the guidelines were initially thought to be an attempt to clean up, clone, or spam applications, TechCrunch reported earlier this month that dozens of small business apps created using such tools had received notices from Apple, which stated their content was inappropriate for the store. Now, as I think Jason just explained this completely, for templated apps related to SMBs, which is like churches, schools, non-profit, restaurants, etc., we are trying to propose that Apple removes these apps from the App Store search categories. So they're saying that. So what this mob want to do, this is a quote from Business Apps Managing Director Andrew Gazdecki. So he wants to say, well, instead of just pinging these apps into oblivion, how about we just make them non-searchable? And so therefore, if you do make, well, that sort of defeats the purpose of Jason and Glenn's pizza shop, doesn't it? Yeah. But then again, I guess if you have got customers that come in and they say, get our app, you can't search for it, but you know where. Or I don't know what
you could say. If you go to glenspizzashop.com and there'd be a link there to the App Store, and when you click on the link, it'll open with that app there, and then you can click download or install. But if someone goes searching for pizza store in Robina, yours won't show up.
Yeah, that's right. So that was that's what Apple is not they're planning on doing. I think they've done it June 8th, so that's already happened. So just keep your eye open for that sort of thing. But as far as we know, stencil, that looks pretty good. That stencil, doesn't it? I've still got that window open here, and that that looks pretty. Is there a cost to that? Pricing? What's the pricing on that?
It's free to start off.
Yeah, there we go. Published to web. Oh yes, and then $99 a year to web and desktop. What? Okay. And then $199 published to your mobile app stores. Right. And I guess that must include the fee that you got to pay Apple. Say.
No, you would pay that separately.
Oh, okay, right.
So that'd be another $99 US. But if there's a lot of kids who want to do something, a game, simple stickman game or something for Newgrounds, so the starter one where you could publish for the web would probably output enough to run on something like Newgrounds, or you could put it on your own website for your friends to play. If you want it to go onto the mobile device, then you need to have an Apple developer license, and then you'll probably be making some good money if you're lucky, so you can afford maybe $199 a year. But there's one guy who programs it all, and he's really brilliant. People were waiting for Stencil 3 to come out with bated breath, and it finally came out, so they all got programming with this stuff. But yeah, I was following it for a while and mucked around with it for a bit to see if it was for me. But at the moment, I'm all about the Fitbit.
Right. Yeah, well, that's where you got we've had some success, haven't you, with your watch face? Why is that keep coming up?
over nearly 400 downloads, paid downloads.
I keep getting messages coming up on the Mac. I don't know if you can hear them or not. And I've just closed the app, and they're still coming. I can't handle Apple sometimes. But anyway, so now my second story, I'm going to run out tonight now because I'm doing 2 in a row. Now my second story that's sort of tied in with what we're talking about with the Minecraft and all this sort of stuff is DanTDM. Now, if you're into Minecraft or you've got kids, you probably would know DanTDM, whatever his name is, DanTDM. He's 2,000. What he does, he gets up there, right? And he plays Minecraft and Pokemon. Records himself playing the gameplay, puts himself in the little corner, and he is pretty entertaining. He's a pom, and he's pretty entertaining with the way he speaks and he's extroverted style of speech and how he interacts with the game and all this sort of stuff. So he's not too bad. He's entertaining. But, geez, my kids just watch it, and especially the little bloke. He just watches it. He'd watch it 24 hours a day. He gets on there. While he's playing a game on the Xbox, DanTDM video on the iPad next to him. It's out of control.
Did you see they were just talking about last week, there's an 8-year-old kid who gets toys and he videos himself unpackaging and playing with toys, and he made like $1 million in the last year, and he's 8.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, isn't it?
Think of how much money we must be making with a quality podcast like this, folks.
Only half as much as what we would have if we had Will on the other half of the 2 greatest podcasters.
Right.
So anyway, well, we miss you, Will. Where are you? Now, so DanTDM, 2017's richest YouTuber. So he obviously makes a lot of money out of this.
More than PewDiePie. Well, he shot himself in the foot, didn't he?
Yeah, he's not on YouTube anymore, isn't he? Or they've pushed him
down?
I
don't know. I don't think people care too much after he started hating on Jews and telling people nasty stuff. And
is that what happened? Wow.
Just went too far.
Yeah, I don't even understand why you want to even go down any of those paths, even
he
if
thinks that he's invulnerable and can do anything and nothing will happen, I guess.
But even if you hated someone's guts, whatever, you don't just get on and just say it. I don't know what's up with some
your 10 million followers, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. What's that do? But anyway, he's 26 years old, this DanTDM, and he's made more than, what was that, about $24 million last year.
Million, Glenn.
Million, little one.
With the...
I thought that's billion. Is it million?
Why not all of the things?
$24 million on the YouTube. So he's become extremely successsul. Now, I saw here's a picture of him here. Oh, no, I don't have a picture of him. I thought I did. Well, anyway, you can go and search for him. He was on, I saw a video of him interviewed on the BBC, and yeah, the videos that he makes are for kids. He knows that kids are watching it, and he is a responsible YouTuber. So it's very good. I don't think I haven't heard any bad language. I don't think he goes into any dark or...
Well, if there's kids that are on that kids YouTube, the YouTube Kids app now, you don't want to have any nasty stuff happening on there because you won't show up on that thing. And the kids up to like 16 are the heavy watchers of particularly Minecraft stuff. So you want to be able to get the biggest audience possible to get the advertising revenue. So why would you restrict yourself and go, oh, it's my channel, I can do whatever I want, I can swear, I can do anything, and then lose advertising and lose viewership?
Yeah, well, that's right. I don't understand why people want to do that. I tried to show you a picture of him there, but it's going to play a video instead. Actually, it's going to play an ad now. Oh, I noticed that the ads are getting a little bit shorter, which is good. Most of the time, get off. That's worse. Most of the time they
join the defence force.
There he is on the left there for those who are watching on the video, and in the middle. He's in 2 places. He's not the one on the right. So that's him there. That's what he looks like. If you want to know, that's what your kids are watching if they're into Minecraft. So yeah, I think he is pretty responsible. So that's good. And yeah, I don't really mind my kids watching DanTDM. All right, now, Jace, we better get on to some of your stories. Well,
alrighty. Well, speaking of Apple before, Apple updates slow down aging iPhones by cutting performance power to save the batteries, researchers have claimed. Scientists at tech firm Primate Labs, cool name, dudes, analysed performance data from thousands of devices, discovered speeding up a slow iPhone could be simple as getting a new battery if you're willing to give Apple $119 for the privilege. Primate Labs founder John Poole said deliberately slowing down the processor can have the effect of hiding a dying battery while also encouraging users to upgrade. Users may believe that the slowdown is due to CPU performance instead of battery performance. This will cause users to think, my phone is slow, so I should replace it, not my phone is slow, so I should replace the battery. The huge analysis revealed that the iPhone 6S performance took 4 massive nosedives after each update that followed iOS 10.2.1. The distribution of iPhone 6S scores for iOS 10.2.0 appears unimodal with a peak around the average score. However, the distribution of iPhone 6S scores for iOS 10.2.1 appears multimodal with one large peak around the average and several smaller peaks around low scores. Under iOS 11.2.0, the effect is even more pronounced. Researchers believe the device is designed to encourage iPhone processors to slow down if they detect battery degradation, meaning customers would need to upgrade or pay Apple for a new battery to get their device back to standard. Batteries naturally degrade over time, with the iPhone designed to last for just 500 charge cycles.
Yeah, so I guess, I don't know, is this Apple being nice to us to help us have the best experience, or is
you could take it either way, couldn't you?
Yeah, I know.
Are they making this phone slow so I better get the iPhone X because it's fast and this one's slow?
Yes. So
Surprised that it's happening with the 6S, though. They're not terribly old.
No, well, I have noticed with my phone, I've got a 6S, and I have noticed that, things say, like, you open up Facebook and it just hangs there for a little bit longer than I thought is normally did. So, I didn't know if it was the internet or what. But, I've noticed a few little things like that. It's disappointing, isn't it?
So when are you getting the iPhone 10, Glenn?
The 12th.
Of never?
That's right.
Oh, you're waiting for the XI, right?
Oh, no. I'm waiting.
Would the faster, slightly upgraded version be called the iPhone XS?
Ooh, XS. Yes, maybe. It could be. But look,
That would be bad marketing.
I had a play with the 10, or the X, or whatever they want to call it. And look, I don't really know. Oh, look, here's a lady taking apart a phone. Let's go to there while I talk. Now, I don't know if I like them. It hasn't got the button, the home button. Doesn't have the home button. Yep. In fact, you've got to hold the screen down to force like a home sort of button push. Yeah, I don't know if I like it. But anyway, saying that, if I had to buy another phone, would I buy another one?
One either.
And
it's the same. It's got a soft button in there and just has the haptic feedback, so it goes bzz when you touch it, so it feels like you pressed a button.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I think I'm overspending $600 plus for a phone, to tell you the truth.
Yep.
I'm over it. I just don't know if I would do that again. I don't know what I would do if this phone broke.
Come to the dark side, Luke.
Yeah, but Samsung and the rest of them are still, up there, aren't they? They're all $800.
Depends. You can get some really good ones for $4 or $5. Not top shelf like the iPhone, but really good ones they'll do fine and they'll last you and have all the features and stuff that you want.
I think at the end of the day, mine's just been. I don't know if I am even utilizing the iPhone to its most capabilities. Like I'm not taking photos that I want to put up on sides of buildings. I'm not doing all the all this stuff. I'm just using just normal just photos, the phone, SMS, Facebook, email, and that's pretty much it. So,
just wait a year and iOS will drop support for 6S and that'll help you to make your decision.
It might. I'll look at a Pixel, but they're up there too. So we'll keep it with the Apple theme. Apple are building a new store, a new flagship store in Melbourne. Now, we'll get to why Jason booed there in a second, because I never... This particular story I read never went into the nasty side of it. But Apple has unveiled plans for its new flagship store in Melbourne, Federation Square, including a design that it says complements the original vision for the precinct, which I don't know what that was. It increases public space. I don't know. You build something to increase public space. Provides a daily program of activity to inspire and educate the community. Now, that's got to be a plus, hasn't it? Through a partnership with the Victorian government, Apple Federation Square will be powered entirely by renewable energy. Well, that's a tick. It also become Apple's most significant store in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's obviously going to be pretty big. So it's going to be a bit more impressive than the one in, is it George Street in Sydney? So when complete, the new store will offer free education sessions on photography, music creation, GarageBand, app development, hope they are not using templates, and other creative pursuits as part of a community engagement called Today at Apple. Now, all sounds good. It's great. I love it. Now, what's
flagship store?
Yeah, what's the problem, Jace? There that this didn't tell me.
One of the websites has got a bunch of tweets from Melbourneites. The new Apple store replacing the Yarra building at Federation Square is radically different architecture and converts the cultural civic space to commercial. And despite this being a public centre, the changes to the planning scheme have already been approved without any public process. Another one, what? The building they are demolishing won numerous awards and is totally a part of the overall design of Federation Square. So instead of cultural tourism, an Apple store? Really shocked part of Federation Square will be demolished to make way for an Apple store. Love it or hate it, there's a clear and coherent artistic vision behind what exists now. Removing part and leaving the rest is worst of all worlds. Fed Square CEO says this will be a flagship Apple store. There are only about 5 of these worldwide. Neglects to mention there's only one Federation Square and only one building.
Oh, I love how they can twist it all, eh? That's funny. But yeah, like this is, I've just got a picture up here.
I think because it's like a cultural icon of Melbourne and people think that it feels like a part of Melbourne. It was probably designed and built by people in Melbourne, and now a US company is coming to demolish part of it to whack in a commercial store to make millions. So,
yeah, I guess that's probably not the upside of the whole thing. But like being not from Melbourne and without wanting to receive a lot of emails, I think that Federation Square building is quite ugly. To be honest,
yeah, people have mentioned that too. It may be ugly, but it's Melbourne.
Yeah. So that's the Federation Square if you're on the video. It's a dark sort of building, pretty boring. And then that's
a good one for you. Fed Square is objectively pretty shit, but giving public land to Apple is still a terrible decision.
Yeah. Oh, yes. If it's gonna, you really have to weigh up. If you're going to give a private company who's got $100 billion in the bank some land for nothing, you'd have to really weigh up: are they going to be really beneficial to the community? Look, I'm not in favour of knocking anything down really that can be reused or whatever. Like in Sydney, they're knocking down stadiums just to build another one. Oh, that on the surface, I don't know the ins and outs of it.
$2.5 billion that could have gone to education or medicine or
anywhere.
People and stuff like this, and they're like, no, we'll make millions. We'll get people to come over here because our stadiums are cooler.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't care if it went to plant poppies or something. But it's just why take down a functioning stadium which was only built for the Olympic Games? But anyway, that's another story, isn't it?
It's bloody ridiculous, mate.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't. As I said, I'm not into the whole nuts and guts of it all, but it's on the outside from Queensland. It looks silly. Okay. Yeah, so there's the Apple Store in Melbourne, so good luck with that. Now, what else have we got here? I've got here consumer electronics. Belkin. Yes, now Belkin have been taken to court because of their lifetime warranties that apparently only lasted 5 years. They must think, I don't know, that's half the life of your little doggy. Well, not even
the
a dog's
lifetime
life.
of a small asthmatic chimpanzee.
Yes, with a hernia. Now, the vendor, Belkin, has accepted a court-enforceable undertaking. I like that. They've accepted it. That's good. The court said, you are bad. And they go, no,
are they going to have a big sign on the website like MSY does?
That's still there, I looked at that.
I saw it the other day.
I wonder how long that's going to stay there. But it's still there.
Forever!
I can't believe it. But you know how slow they are to update their website?
Yeah.
It'll be there for another... until they get their new one going. But anyway, Belkin has accepted a court-enforceable undertaking following an investigation by the ACCC. Belkin sold products between 2016 and 2017 that were supplied with lifetime warranty or limited lifetime warranty with products like wireless routers, switches and cables. However, Belkin only applied these policies for repairing or replacing within 5 years. Naughty, naughty. The limited time warranty was not disclosed on the product's packaging and was only referred to on Belkin's website. Now, as part of
kind of like that limited, unlimited quotas that a lot of companies had. You can have unlimited internet, which is 5 gigs.
Yeah.
Which we call unlimited, which is not unlimited at all.
No, that was just a joke. As part of the undertaking, Belkin will honour the lifetime warranty. Now, here's where you can get in, okay, and get a lifetime warranty on your router. As part of the undertaking, Belkin will honour the lifetime warranty on products sold for the next 3 years. And has
a lifetime. As long as you die in the next 3 years, it'll be your lifetime, right?
No.
They didn't say whose lifetime.
No, they're going to offer the lifetime warranty. Well, I read that.
Yep.
Well, I read that as, I'll have to read that again, but I read that as, so the next 3 years they sell you a router, it's got a lifetime warranty, actual lifetime warranty.
Right.
So I'll read that again, and you interpret it how you wish. Okay, I'll read it verbatim. As part of the undertaking, Belkin will honour the lifetime warranty on products sold for the next 3 years and has agreed to not make lifetime warranty representations unless it is truly applicable to the lifetime of the product.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right there.
That's how I read that. Yeah. But you're right. I will see then. We will see. I reckon, I don't know, if you're going to buy a router, you might as well, I don't know, buy Belkin, test it out.
Yep.
Yeah. Where are you going to take us now, Jace?
South Australia's giant battery is already showing its worth. State Energy Minister Tom Koutsantonis says the world's largest lithium-ion battery, built by tech billionaire Elon Musk, responded quickly last week when the coal-fired Loy Yang power plant tripped and went offline. The battery delivered 100 megawatts into the national electricity grid in 140 milliseconds.
Ooh,
that's a record, and the national operators were shocked at how quickly and efficiently the battery was able to deliver this type of energy into the market. The ministry said that the battery's quick response time showed its worth over other forms of power generation. Now, if we got a call to turn on our emergency generators, it would take us 10 to 15 minutes to get them fired up and operating, which is a record time compared to other generators. Torres Island Power Station would take half an hour to energize and synchronize into the market. The battery can do it in milliseconds. The battery in the state's mid-north was switched on earlier this month after being built by Mr. Musk's company Tesla in under 100 days. It is paired to the neighbouring Hornsdale wind farm, owned by French company Neon, to bring added reliability and stability to the state's electricity grid. Booyah!
Well, there you go. So that looks like it's a bit of a win for the battery.
Yep.
So, so I don't know how much it had to power and for how long, but I don't know, a win's a win. I'm guessing Elon will take that.
Yeah.
He will take that. I saw in that picture there that I flashed up. Where is it? Like, look at all the wind.
You've been flashing again.
I know. Look at all those windmills. They're all right, aren't they? Yeah, good stuff.
Well, the government says they're ugly and should come down because burning coal is much cleaner and nicer looking.
Yeah. Now, we're going to do something that we don't do too often, and that is we're going to have to take a quick break. So just hold your horses. We'll be back in a sec.
Nay.
Yes, we're back through the magic of podcasting. See, it really wasn't too long at all, was it? All right. Now, where were we? We finished talking about the battery, I think. So how that's done a good job. Was it worth the 100 million or whatever it was? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Now, where can we go from there? I've done the Belkin story. How about this bloke? Just running on from the whole warranty issues and everything. Now, this happened earlier this year. It sort of started probably a couple of years ago. But there was an online reseller, Electronic Bazaar. Now, the owner of this was actually imprisoned for misleading customers on refunds. So that's how serious it can get. Like, we talk about the
MSY got out easy, didn't they?
Well, they did. Exactly. Like, these companies get fined and big money. MSY was fined $750,000 or something. So it's pretty big money. So anyway, this guy, Electronic Bazaar, listed products such as notebooks, mobile phones from Apple, Acer, Dell. So I need to, the whole box and dice. the ACCC said that he made such claim as consumers were not entitled to a refund, repair or replacement for goods in various circumstances, such as where the goods were no longer under an express warranty, where the goods had been used, or were not in the original packaging, and unless a claim was made within a specified time period. So whatever he was doing was all wrong. This is in 2015. He was fined $100,000. Now, the ACCC filed proceedings against him in November 2016 for contempt, alleging that he breached his court orders by making similar misleading claims through another online retailer. So, he didn't learn his lesson, so he's back in the court. He was found guilty in April. Now, he was ordered to serve 1 month of his imprisonment sentence immediately. The remaining 2 months will be suspended if he complies with his original court orders not to make false misleading representations about the consumer rights. So, look, I don't know if he's out or whatever he's doing now, but I know that's only in November, but if he served 3 months, well, yeah, his 3 months would nearly be up. But, geez, it can get serious. It can get serious.
Doesn't learn very well, does he?
Not by the sounds of it, no. Maybe he'll learn with at least 1 month in the clink. So, so I guess like...
Hogan!
Hogan!
Oh, not that clink.
No, not that clink, no. That's still getting its run on Foxtel.
Is it?
Yeah, Hogan Zeros, that's still going around. Yeah, and I saw Happy Days. Well, was that on 11 or one of those free-to-wear channels? I saw
nice.
that. Yeah, I was at the gym and the old Fonz, and I saw the one with the leather Tuscadero in it, old Susie Quattro.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was good. All right, yeah, so things can get serious with the ACCC if you don't obey their orders, like Belkin did when they accepted their court order, their court enforceable order. They accepted, said, yep, okay, we're bad. All right, Jace, what else have you got there?
Well, this is not a good one. 1 in 10 Australians' private health records have been unwittingly exposed by the Department of Health in an embarrassing blunder that includes potentially exposing if someone is on HIV medication, has terminated a pregnancy, or is seeing a psychologist.
Huh?
Unique patient records matching the online public information of 7 prominent Australians, including 3 former or current MPs and an AFL footballer, were revealed in a study by the University of Melbourne School of Computing and Information Systems. A report published on Monday by the university's Dr. Chris Colnane, Dr. Benjamin Rubenstein, and Dr. Vanessa Teague outlines how de-identified historical health data from the Australian Medical Benefit Scheme and the Pharmaceutical Benefit Scheme, released to the public in August 2016, can be re-identified using known information about the person to find their record. We found that patients can be re-identified without decryption through a process of linking the unencrypted parts of the record with known information about the individual, such as medical procedures and year of birth. This shows a surprising ease with which de-identification can fail, highlighting the risky balance between data sharing and privacy. While a unique match may not always be accurate, Dr. Rubenstein said there was a possibility to improve confidence by cross-referencing other data. Because only 10% of Australians are included in the sample data, there can be a coincidental resemblance to someone who isn't included. We can improve confidence by cross-referencing with a second data set of population-wide billing frequencies. We can also examine uniqueness according to the characteristics of commercial data sets we know of, such as bank billing data.
Yeah, so I guess that's no good, but like, why would... Oh, look, there's probably many reasons, I guess, if you move into public life where these records might, I don't know, come in handy in the hands of the wrong person. But
I'm guessing what they did was they had a lot of information. They took all the personal information out and released it so that medical students and medical programmers of medical software could use that data to try out databases and do some research. But it was accidentally found that you could actually identify the people who were in there just by adding on a few extra things.
Yeah. So that's no good. Did it say what the outcome of that was? What was the response? Did they say? Sorry, I wasn't reading it there properly. But anyway, in any case, I think the government has to respond to that and maybe scramblise the data more before they release it for testing purposes, I guess.
Yeah, it says the Federal Department of Health was notified about the issue in December last year. The Department of Health takes this matter very seriously and had already referred this to the Privacy Commissioner. The project was halted and remains halted, and the data set was removed immediately. Spokesman said the department's since taken further steps to protect and manage data.
Yeah. Oh, that's, as long as they're on top of it. That's the main thing, isn't it? That's the main thing, or you'd hope. But look, people get my health data. There's nothing probably there to worry about anyway, so no, I'm not worried. But yeah, but you can't have that. You can't have that going on. Yes. So now, where am I going? I've just got to scroll all the way back up here now. Now, Facebook. I've got a Facebook story. Now, Facebook is going to, or they're ramping up their facial recognition use. So Facebook users now will be notified every time their face is uploaded, even if you're not tagged in it. So that's pretty cool.
Don't take my face off and upload it somewhere.
No.
I need my face.
The algorithms that power Facebook's facial recognition technology analyze the pixels in the photos are extremely sophisticated, not least because of the vast amounts of data they have to learn from. I suppose when you think about it, like, yeah, it's
every picture
amazing.
of you and the kids is up there for them to analyze.
Yeah, it's amazing. Facebook has been using this technology since 2010, when the company began offering suggestions for whom to tag in a photo. The new feature, Facebook creates a template of a person's face by analysing the pixels from existing photos and comparing them to newly uploaded images. Users who do not want to take part can opt out in their privacy settings. But I tell you, like, must be some fair computing.
It's always opt out with Facebook, isn't it? We're going to put you into all of our stuff unless you say no, instead of we won't put you in unless you say yes, in which case they only get a couple of thousand people.
Yeah.
Now they get millions and millions of people, and then they're like, oh, I didn't really want that, but I didn't even know it was happening. Because, I mean, it's not like they have an announcement. You log into Facebook, it's like, well, we're going to identify you from every photo you've ever had. We're storing that data, and it can be personally identifiable. Even if you delete your account, we'll still keep all those photos just in case you reactivate it one day. You'd never know, and you've got access to that data forever.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. Like, I suppose the secret here is if you don't want stuff to come back and haunt you, you just stay off Facebook.
Stay off the internet, people. It's not a safe place to be.
Well, we're pretty much off the internet in Australia, aren't we? With all these ADSLs and lower speeds. So, do you know how many people do you know that aren't on Facebook? Do you reckon? Count on one hand.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, there's not many. I probably know even mates of mine. I've got two that would come to mind straight away. You got to actually talk to them in person when you want to talk to them.
What?
I know, eh? Tell me that's not wrong.
It's so 90s, dude.
I know.
A bit backwards.
Yeah, Facebook. Oh, yeah.
Are they from the country?
No, they're from around here, around Robina, in Queensland. So, that's what Facebook's up to.
In the middle of nowhere where you can't get any deliveries of a TV or anything.
That's the one. I don't know if Kogan's changed that, but look, I'm so glad they didn't deliver me the TV because I probably would have bought it. It probably would have been pus. I should have. Who was that? Who was the guy we had on told me it was pus? One of the guys you were talking to me about today.
Adam?
Yeah, must have been Adam. Was it? Yeah, yes. I think it was Adam. Yeah, and I said I was going to go for the Kogan or the Audi. Well, I went for the Audi. And the only reason was because I could take it back easy. And yeah, it was pus. I had no idea. It was like a waste of resources. Like, seriously. It was just my
TCL is pretty good. I'm happy with it. Except for the only thing that I don't like is it has its own little app store, so it doesn't run Android or anything, which I should have checked. I'd got one that did. But it has an app store that has like catch-up TV things and SBS on demand and stuff, which I don't use because I can get that through the PlayStation anyway. But the app store for my TV doesn't have Netflix. But if you bought the next year's model, they enabled Netflix on that, which would run fine on my TV if they enabled it for that model. But because I think when it connects to their server and lists the software, it says, oh, hi, I'm this model. It says, oh, that's last year. We want people to buy a new TV, so we'll just block Netflix. And you're like, well, I'm not going to buy a brand new TV when I only got one a year ago just so that I can get Netflix. I'll just, get a little stick and plug in there or even Raspberry Pi or something, anything. But buying a whole new television just to get Netflix, all they're doing is screwing over their own faithful customers.
But yeah, I don't know, like just by stopping your access to it, it doesn't guarantee it that you're going to buy another TCL though, does it? So do you reckon they'd be that pedantic about it. Just, this is...
People. I went to their forums and people just going right off. They're like, just let us watch Netflix using the TV we bought last year.
Yeah, okay.
They completely ignored it. They said, we tried ringing them. No, we're not going to do that. Buy a new TV if you want that.
Well, I know my mum and dad, they've got a TCL. This is a bit of a wrap for TCL. It has to be 20 years old. Would it be 20 years? It'd have to be 15. And it's it's not HD. It's just got a standard definition tuner in it. It's as blurry as crap. but you know, that's how it was. But it's still going. Like the picture's not too bad. I shouldn't say it's blurry as crap. It's not HD, right? Yeah. And it's probably, what would it be? It'd be SD. But you know, and because it was 15 years old, but it's still going, and that's what you look for in a TV when you buy one. The
TV works fine, and mostly we just watch stuff from the PlayStation, Crunchyroll, or Netflix on the PlayStation anyway. So we get all the stuff regardless. But you know, the TV is good quality TV. It's got nice image and everything. It wasn't too expensive compared to a lot of others. And since even I probably mentioned this in this show before, the story when I went in there and I said, the salesman was asking me what if I needed help. I said, well, I've done a lot of research and I know that there's about 2 companies in the whole world that makes LCD panels for all of the TVs and all the monitors. He's like, yeah, that's right. There's only a couple of them. And then he still tried to upsell me to something else, to a Sony, I think it was, because it's got a better screen. I'm like, we just agreed that the screens are pretty much the same. Yeah. It's the features that they put in behind it. It's the technology and the processor, the software, the brightness, contrast, all of this stuff that will make the difference. The screen is basically the same.
Yeah.
So some of them will have better controllers, faster CPUs. They'll have their own way of dynamically improving the image, or all that sort of stuff. So that will improve it. But you can't say get this one because it's got a better screen, because it really doesn't.
So you say my Audi one was a good screen, but it was just past.
Crappy processor behind it.
I think that's what it was. Like, you know how, you walk in and see it, and the picture is colourful, it's full, it's almost... like glowing, well, not sort of glowing, but it's glassy. It's a nice picture. Well, this Audi thing, it was washed out. It was, and you just couldn't get a decent picture. I tried all the settings, which were very limited, and that might have been the problem. Tried this and that here and there, but just even free to wear. I even downloaded a 4K image to see if I could get it working properly, and that was okay, but geez, just on
it wasn't moving.
That's right. But just normal stuff. It was terrible. Yeah,
too much motion blur.
But if you're looking for TV, here's a quick Aussie tech head tip. Have a look at Sony at Video Pro. I got an email from them through the week. They got some like 55-inch, 60-inch for $1,200 for 55, maybe a little bit more for 60. So they've got some deals at the moment. I think
wasn't that long ago I got a 26-inch TV and it was $1,500 for LCD, and I thought that was good.
Wow.
Now the price has gone vroom.
Yeah, geez, 26-inch. That's nothing. That's a monitor.
I know. I had it in Melbourne a few years ago, and my daughter's friends from school came over for a little party and stuff with her, and they're like, geez, your dad's TV is really small, isn't it? So next weekend I went out, that's it, I'm going to get a 40-inch, and I ended up looking at it and was like, nah, we'll get a 50.
Yeah. Well, I think our 55 didn't really make the move a couple of years ago. It developed this little black line about an inch from the top. So that annoyed us for 2 years. And so then old mate next door, he was getting rid of his big 60-inch plasma, weighed as heavy as the car. And so
it keeps you warm in winter.
It does. It cooks your eggs as well. Oh, she's a beauty. And, luckily we got solar. And she's power hungry, obviously, and hot. And the picture's okay. It's full HD, so it's not too bad. It's old. You can tell it's old.
You're talking about, not the wife. Power hungry and hot.
Yeah, that's right. The TV. That's exactly right. Now, so Telstra's getting into the Christmas spirit of sorts. Yeah, they're going to be making calls from payphones free from the 24th of December to the 26th of December. So they're putting on the Christmas cheer, and they're offering free local, national, and standard mobile calls from also from home phones. Yeah, plus the 16,000 odd payphones across Australia. So
if it's a pay phone, but you're not paying, does it just mean it's a phone?
Yes, that's right. Exactly. It's like that. What do they call Postman Pat when he retires?
Pat.
That's right. Now the Christmas cheer continues. Oh, great. We also learned from Telstra that it's also offering free Wi-Fi at the selected pink Wi-Fi public phone hotspots. Now, apparently last year, in 2016, free payphone calls campaign, more than 271,000 were made free from the payphones over 3 days.
I wonder what happens if you accidentally try to put some money in or something. Does it just go straight through and come out the other side?
I don't know. I reckon it takes.
You don't know that it's free. They have like a big sign on the front of it that says free calls for 3 days on every single one. Or do you walk in, you pick it up, you like put in your $2 coin, and it goes straight through to the change. You're like, oh, I can't make any calls. Oh, wait, it's ringing.
Look, the last time I used a payphone was like probably a long time ago. And is it right that they would drop out the unused coins, wouldn't they?
Yep.
Yeah. So I wonder they still would happen. If that still happens, then, or do they still drop out unused coins? Are the phones in those boxes now big enough to hold them, or do you put the coins in, triggers the switch and just drops into the pit?
Who knows?
I don't know. I might have to put 20 cents in and find out. So I know exactly where there's a payphone. Now,
one of my friends, when he used to visit, he had a special way of signalling to his parents that he was ready to come home. He'd just go to a pay phone and he'd ring them, and as soon as they picked up, it'd hang up. And so they're like, oh, that's the cue to go get my son. So it didn't cost any money. He didn't put any money into it. He just dialed the number, but it won't connect because there's no money in there. But his parents knew if they got a phone call around the time they were expecting from him and it just clicked out, then, we have to go get it.
Yeah, we did something similar, but it was like just we let the thing ring twice and then hang up, and then they go, oh yeah, that's it. Or sometimes when the caller ID started to come in and everyone got pretty happy with all that, going, oh, look who's ringing, it's such and such, and then you got a private number, you go, ooh, not touching that one. All of a sudden, if you didn't know who it was, you weren't touching it. And we weren't touching the private ones. And so if it was, say, I don't know, your mum or something, or this is a while ago, so it'd be your mum's brother or whatever, then they would ring twice, hang up, you go, and then ring again. You go, that's someone we want to talk to. Now, given that Telstra says the calls from home are from Telstra home phones, this would mean that, if you're on Optus at home, we probably get charged for it. So, I don't know, you could try it if you wanted to, but, Telstra reminds us that the offer excludes international calls, 13 numbers, and premium and directory services. So, all those, call for sex numbers, they're out. No, they're out. You got to pay for those still.
Glenn went there.
You still got to pay for them, unfortunately. Have you ever rang one of those numbers?
No.
We did. We rang one night. We had a bit of a laugh with the girl. She was pretty funny.
I used to like it because back in the day there was a number that you could call for that Telstra used for line testing. So you ring the number and then you hang it up, and it would call back to that number to make sure that the phone was working.
That's right, yeah.
So I used to do that. I'd go over to cousins or grandparents or something, and you dial in the number, and then you hang it up and run into the next room and sit there like this. Ring, 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 ring. Oh, quick, they go running out there. Hello? Oh, they just disconnected. There's nobody there. Oh, okay. Go back into the kitchen, start, mate. Ring, 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 ring. Oh, no, they're gone again. There's something wrong with my phone. And everyone in the lounge room is just like...
Why don't you just ring up and test your line?
Yes, try this one. It'll call back.
Yeah. Now, look, what's Twitter doing with swatch stickers? They're doing.
Well, Twitter is trying to cut down on the bad stuff. So it said it'll begin issuing a warning before a user can see pictures with Nazi swash stickers and other items it determines are hateful imagery, as well as prohibit their use on any profile photos. The new policy, which also bans users who associate either offline or online with the organisations that promote violence against civilians. This step is one of several that Twitter said it will take to crack down on white nationalists and other violent or hateful groups which have become unwelcome on a service that once took an absolutist view of free speech. Twitter said in a blog post that it would shut down accounts affiliated with non-government organizations that promote violence against civilians. So if it's a government organization you're affiliated with that promotes violence against civilians, that's okay.
That's okay, yeah. Government's excluded from everything.
And ban usernames that constitute a violent threat or racial slur. It said it would also remove tweets that determine, celebrate violence or glorify people who commit it. Twitter suspended an unknown number of accounts this week, including one belonging to Jada Franson, the Britain First leader, whose videos critical of Islam were retweeted multiple times by US President Donald Trump last month.
Were they really bad, were they? I never saw them, but they obviously...
I never saw them, and they've been deleted now, and also the retweets are gone because the original ones are gone.
So it says Twitter will be issuing a warning before a user can see pictures with swatch sticks and other items in terms of hateful imagery. But I thought if it was determined to be hateful, it just would be banned.
You'd think so, but maybe there's some people who want to see something like that.
Yeah, but I thought then, like, if it was a hateful thing, it would have been...
if it's a hateful one, but it could be like, some historical...
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of like last year in history, or 50 years ago in history, or 100 years ago in history might have a
right. Picture of the swastika, but I don't know. Is it all of a like I know are they really signs like the swastika? I remember, I don't know. We used to draw them on our books at school.
Remember how Twitter wanted to get more investment or even try and sell Twitter to somebody, but they took a look at it and they said, "Wow, there's a lot of crap on there and a lot of hate and violence and hatred against women and things like this. Yeah, we're not going to touch that. You keep that Twitter where it is, and we'll take our investment money somewhere else." So I think it's one of the steps where Twitter is like, we better start cleaning up some of the cesspool here. They're going to drain the swamp.
Oh,
just like Trump.
Not the only ones draining the swamp. All right. Now,
is that the same as draining the lizard, or is that something else?
Similar. The lizard filled the swamp, I think.
Yeah.
And then, now, you got a couple of stories to go, so we'll get through those, quickly, if you like.
HTTPS deployment is going to get some momentum, said Richard Barnes, a former Mozilla software engineer now with Cisco. We should start preparing for a shift towards making non-secure sites as insecure as opposed to marking secure sites as secure. As a first step, let's add a negative indicator for all non-secure sites, gated by a pref that's off by default, he wrote in a feature request last year. Mozilla approved his request, and Firefox Nightly 59 now includes a hidden preference named security.insecure connection icon enabled. That when enabled will show the above strike-through lock on all HTTP pages. To enable this feature, users must navigate to the About Config settings section, search for the above preference, and double-click to enable it. The increased adoption of HTTPS among website operators will soon lead browsers to marking HTTP pages as not secure by default. For example, the current Firefox Nightly edition, version 59, includes a secret configuration option that will show the visible indicator that the page is not secure. In its current form, the visual indicator is a red line striking through a classic lock that's normally used to signal the presence of encrypted HTTPS pages.
Yes. So that's I think that's a good idea. I think because nowadays
secure should be the norm, and then tell people when it's not the norm. Otherwise, people are like, oh, well, it looks like a website, and then you go to somewhere else and it's like that's a secure one, but they won't really notice if it's like, yeah, everything's normal. Whoa, look out, this one doesn't have any encryption at all. Warning, Will Robinson.
And I also read that the Chrome browser early next year is going to start blocking ads for sites that have too many or sites that have ads that say, I think,
redirect.
Yeah, possibly. And if you're on a mobile, ads that'll take up more than 30% of the screen, these things will be blocked. And I think, and so like if you've got ads all over the show, you've actually got to apply to Chrome or to apply to Google to be whitelisted as a safe advertiser, and then you'll be right.
Oh, I hate that. There's some places you just despair. You go there and it pops up a video at the top and you scroll down and the video gets larger. Yeah, and then you click, don't play this, so it shrinks down, and then it pops up and says, hi, would you like to subscribe to our newsletter so you can hear about us every week? You're like, no, thanks. And then pops up, oh, we use cookies on this site. Don't forget we use cookies. Okay, it pops up, here's an ad, full screen, it's auto-playing, quick, you better close it. Oh, you're going to close it. Well, I'm just going to put it down in this bottom corner here.
Yeah.
Look, ad's still playing. The ad's still playing. We didn't stop the ad, so we're going to get the hits for that ad, even though nobody's paying attention to it. Pause.
Yeah, well,
Okay, scroll down a bit. Oh, the ad in this corner has started again. Pause.
yeah, well, that's what happened. That's why through the podcast, like I'll bring up the news.com, I think is the particular offender, and and you will see me if you're on the video. You'll see me. I know the ad's coming, so I push mute, so the ad gets muted. But then, soon as the actual video starts to load, I can't push the mute button, and then you keep pushing it, and the video doesn't load. Jason's gone on to the next subject, and all of a sudden the video's loaded and it starts talking.
Yeah.
And you go,
Stupid.
so, like, you know, these sites, like, I guess...
You know what? It's really deceptive. The point of having autoplay videos is not so that you'll watch it. It's so you can say to the advertisers, 20,000 people watch this video. And the truth is 20,000 people didn't watch it. You forced it onto 20,000 people, none of whom were interested in the ad whatsoever, just so you could raise your advertising revenue and get some more money from your advertisers. It's actually ripping off the advertisers and pissing off your customers at the same time. There's no win situation there. Eventually, both customers and advertisers are going to go away. You're going to be stuck with a site that nobody wants to go to because it's full of this crap.
Yeah, and not only that is that like these sites, they want people to read them, and you might be annoyed because of the the autoplay stuff. But what happens if you're in a work environment? You don't want the things just to start blaring. And I thought that's the whole reason why it was courteous just not to have the autoplay.
Ridiculous.
Yes, but anyway.
Keep going. Next story.
Yes.
Over the past decade, the UK government has attempted to lock in a basic level of broadband service across Britain. The idea is that by 2020, members of the public will have the legal right to request speeds of at least 10 megabits per second from their ISP, whether they happen to live in a big city or in the countryside. It's all a part of the government's universal service obligation, which was laid out in the Digital Economy Act passed earlier this year. Ministers originally considering adopting BT's voluntary offer, which would have seen it spend up to £600 million, giving 1.4 million rural residents access to speeds of at least 10 megabits per second. However, in a statement today, the government confirmed that it will now go down the regulatory route as it provides sufficient certainty and legal enforceability that is required to ensure high-speed broadband for access for the whole of the UK by 2020. Cultural Secretary Karen Bradley said, "We know how important broadband is to homes and in businesses, and we want everyone to benefit from fast and reliable connection. We are grateful to BT for this proposal, but decided that only a regulatory approach will make high-speed broadband a reality for everyone in the UK, regardless of where they live or work. The government will now begin settling out what the universal service obligation must include. It's expected that legislation will be passed early 2018, that it will take roughly 2 years to formally introduce the minimum expected speeds previously laid out by Ofcom. While it's certainly a blow for BT, the government is confident it's made the correct decision. It believes that by introducing legislation, minimum speeds can be increased as consumers' requirements evolve, and that no household will be left behind, subject to a cost threshold. The good news is that fixed line super-fast broadband connections, which provide speeds of 24 megabits per second or more, currently over an estimated 95% of UK homes and businesses.
Wow.
Thanks to the government's subsidised Broadband Delivery UK program, that figure could reach 98% by 2020. It means that by the time the USO is enforced, only a small percentage of UK premises will fall into the gap. Can you imagine that happening here? You must get at least 10 megabits per second to every single household in the country by law.
Well, there's a good interview. I'm not sure if you'll be able to get it. Look, it might be on the Facebook. If you got Foxtel Go, you might be able to get it. It was on the Sky News channel last night. Richo, I think he has a show at 8 o'clock or something. Now, I turned in and there was a guy from the RMIT, and it was a great interview. It told us what he thought was the problems. They all started 20 years ago through multiple governments and what needs to be done. So, in a nutshell, basically, he wants to see Telstra split up wholesale and retail. Telstra take over, say, the building and the deploying of the broadband, and he goes, we must have an objective of fibre to the premise. He said anything else is just not going to work. Yep. So it was a really good interview. So if you can find it, I would encourage you to look. Maybe.
Well, we know they already did anything else except for fibre to the premises, and we know how crap that's turned out, don't we?
Yeah, and then I was talking to Eric, as I was saying today, and we were talking about how the US is all cabled with the coaxial cable, from the pay TV days, and currently from pay TV days, and they're pushing around, high speeds through that.
Everyone's looking to go to gigabit, and we're like, well, we might get up to 5 megabits per second for maybe 8% of the country by 2025 at this rate.
And apparently England and New Zealand went down the same path as us earlier and failed. But for some reason, Australia thought that it wouldn't fail for us, but it has. A very interesting interview. If you can, go find it. It was Richo last night, so that would have been the Richo, the 20th of December. He might have, if you go to his Facebook page, he might have the video posted there. But I'd encourage you to go, and it was really interesting. And last one, Jace. Apple is said to have...
We'll try and do this fast. iPhone and iPad introduced a novel way of interacting with computers via easy-to-use applications accessible in the highly curated App Store. The same approach hasn't worked nearly as well on Apple's desktops and laptops. The Mac App Store is a ghost town of limited selection and rarely updated programs. Now Apple plans to change that by giving people a way to use a single set of apps that work equally well across a family of devices, iPhones, iPads, and Macs. Starting as early as next year, the software developers will be able to design a single application that works with a touchscreen or mouse and trackpad, depending on whether it's running on the iPhone and iPad operating system or on a Mac hardware, according to people. Developers currently must design two different apps, one for iOS, the operating system of Apple's mobile devices, and one for macOS, the system that runs on Macs. That's a lot more work. What's more, Apple customers have long complained that some Mac apps get the short shrift. For example, while the iPhone and iPad Twitter app is regularly updated with the social network's latest features, the Mac version hasn't been refreshed recently and is widely considered substandard. With a single app for all machines, Mac, iPad, and iPhone users will get all new features and updates at the same time. Unifying the apps could help the iOS and Mac OS platforms evolve and grow as one and not at the expense of the other. This would be the biggest change to Apple's software platform since iOS was introduced. Apple is developing the strategy as part of the next major iOS and macOS updates, said people who requested anonymity to discuss the internal matter. Codename Marzipan, the secret, not so secret anymore, project is planned as a multi-year effort that will start rolling out as early as next year and may be announced at the company's annual developers conference in the summer. Plans are still fluid, the people said, so the implementation could change or the project could still be cancelled. Well, this goes against a lot of other people's suggestion that the Mac desktops, Mac OS is going to be thrown out completely and just everything go fully iPad and iPhone and nothing else.
Well, I think was that they've just bought a Mac out that was $8,000 or something.
And everybody laughed in their heads, didn't they?
Yes. And
hilarious.
Yes, that's right. And I was going to say something else, but it's just completely gone out of my brain then. So...
That other bastard keeps on interrupting you.
No, I remember what it was.
And he doesn't let you finish what you're saying. And you can't get a word in edgeways.
They were saying that, the Mac store, the Mac App Store is, going down the gurgler and it doesn't get updated and everything like that. But have they had a look at the Windows App Store?
Yeah.
Don't look there.
There's nothing.
That is still useless. That is still hopeless. Like, fair dinkum, there's nothing there.
Do you remember when we all used to go to Two Cows, the ultimate collection of Winsock software, and get all the latest, browser and chat programs and stuff from there? That was really awesome. When I was working at the University of Sydney, I was in talks with the Two Cows people because I went to a show in Sydney and the Two Cows people were there. I'm like, oh, you guys, I love Two Cows. Two Cows is awesome. My domains are hosted with Hover, which is a subsidiary of a part or something from Two Cows and uses Two Cows for domain registration. But I was like, I should set up a repository at the university. You just needed a server and a big enough hard drive, and you could mirror Two Cows so that people at the university, because all the teachers and all the students would be downloading Netscape at the time, all from the Netscape website. You might as well get it from a local server and just download it once and keep it on there. Yeah. So we were in talks with it, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. I'm going to be running my own Two Cows distribution. And then, I got a job elsewhere.
Yeah. So it all went up the gurgler. Yeah. All right. So, look, I think we got through everything. That you found quite a few stories that I didn't see this week. So, yeah, good stuff.
That's good.
Yeah, just some interest. You went all over the world, didn't you? You went Bloomberg. You went Sydney Morning Herald, bleepingcomputer.com. That's a good resource, just quietly. Bleepingcomputer.com if you've got viruses and so forth. But yeah, so that's cool. So that is all we've got time for this week and possibly this year. So, yeah, I won't be here next week. And Jace, it's up to you guys if you want to.
I'll see if I get some time. I might put together a special show of highlights from things that have happened during the year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But take it as there's no show next week. So if you see it on your phone, well, whoopie do. Yes, great. Have a listen. But other than that, we probably will see you early in the new year. Not even sure about the following Thursday. But, we'll be here when we're here, I guess. But it won't be too far into the new year. I'll give you the tip. All right, and Jordan will be back. He's keen to come back to us next year as well. And hopefully Eric will get some downtime and come on as well. And Will, that kid must be growing up by now, eh? Come on.
Maybe he could even come in partway through the show.
Yeah, that's right.
Done that with people before. They've come in part way or they've left part way through, like Eric had to the other week. So
yeah, the technology is here. We can do part timers these days. All right. Well, Merry Christmas, Jace. I hope you have a
Glenn and everyone listening. Yeah. Thanks for putting up with us and listening to us crap on for the last 12 months.
Yes, hopefully you've got something out of it and you've enriched your lives somehow and gone and taken a deal that we might have seen that you hadn't seen, or done something that you've got from the show and you've liked and implemented in real life. That'd be very.
My Litecoin is nearly 10 times what it was when I bought it.
There you go. If you listened to Jace's advice 3 months ago and bought some Litecoin or some Ethereum, you're well on your way to riches. Success. All right, so I hope you guys out there have a very Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year. So we'll see you again very soon. So for now, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Same to you, Jace. See you later.
Bye.
Cheers.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye-bye.